Hi, everybody. It is me, the fabulous Leo Brown, and I'm on here to talk about World AIDS Day. As we know, today is December 1st. So happy December 1st, everybody. I hope you guys are having a wonderful, Thursday thus far and getting ready for the weekend. But I wanted to come on and talk about something that I think is very important. I mean, I am a gay man. And you know what? I shouldn't even say that because it's not just a gay disease. This disease affects everyone. Gay, straight, bisexual, transgender, questioning, queer, genderqueer, lesbian. It affects everyone, really, whether we have it or not. But I wanted to really talk about it because I think we need to talk about it. Unfortunately, in my community, in the gay black community, and in the black community at large, AIDS and HIV, human immunity virus. That's what HIV stands for. Um, which is the disease that causes AIDS. It really is affecting our community, my community, and of course, the gay community. It's affecting, you know, quite well, or quite rampantly, which is sad to me. And what I really just want to come on here and say is this: though AIDS is not a stigma, though HIV is not a stigma, uh, or I shouldn't say a stigma. It's not a death sentence like it was, in the early 80s and things of that nature. It's not that. However, you still can die from this disease. A lot of us don't know, but actress Alexis Arquette, there we go. I can't talk today, y'all. She died of complications from the disease. And, unfortunately, we kind of brush it off, and I don't think we should because, yes, we've come a long way, but we still have a long way to go. And, you know, my thing is this: I think as long as you are protecting yourself and you're being honest with yourself and with your partners, who you choose to sleep with, and more importantly, you're being selective of whom you choose to be with as well, you should be fine. However, a lot of us don't do that. You know, I shouldn't say a lot. Some of us don't do that. Some of us don't take that into account. We do these reckless things because, let's be real, it's fun. It's easy because I mean, unfortunately, thanks to things like apps like, Jacked and Scruff and Grinder and all that, it's easier to link up with somebody, and even for the straight people, for Tinder and things of that nature. It's easier to link up with someone and have a quickie than it is to really establish a connection. I think establishing connections are difficult, but that lies into the realm of dating. But even in that, I think it's easier to have anonymous sex than it is to really connect with someone. And even in anonymous sex, you need to be honest. Because whether or not, yes, you might be going there for yourself just to get it in, but you're affecting somebody else, whether you know it or not. So, my advice to anybody who is struggling with this disease: talk to someone, get help, get a support system, get people around you that really truly love you, love yourself, number one. And number two, don't blame yourself because there's nothing wrong with being a sexual person. There's nothing wrong with having sex. There's nothing wrong with sex in general. But you just have to be mindful of what you do. But if you do something that gets you, quote unquote, um, I'm trying to word this because I don't want to offend anyone. But if you do something that, unfortunately you may end up regretting, don't have guilt over it because, here's the thing. We all have done things. We all have blood on our hands, myself included. I mean, I'll be real. I've had unprotected sex before. I've done it. I'll share that with y'all. And I use this term loosely. I was in a relationship with a guy for 3 months, and I know that's not a relationship, but I thought it was. Being the romantic that I am, I was like, well, we had been seeing each other for the past 3 months or so, and right before I ended things with him, I ended up getting tested, for STDs because I very much believe in getting tested for everything, not just HIV. So I get tested for every STD and STI out there. So Got tested, everything was fine. And prior to that, he had been pressuring me. He was like, I know you love me and I love you. Why don't we go ahead and just get it in raw? And I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do this. Like I'm like, I'm not really into unprotected sex like that. I was like, I'm not. It doesn't do anything for me. Um, and it really doesn't. I can watch it because I'm not gonna lie, I do watch bareback porn, but even in that, you have to look at the quote unquote models and the actors and actresses. They're choosing to do that. They're getting paid. The studios test them for things of that nature, and even some studios like Sean Cody, like Chaos Man. I'm trying to think of another one that does. Like Lucas Entertainment, I think. They all say at the beginning of their film, like, you know, we don't recommend that you do this, even if you're in a relationship. So, um, getting back to the story. So he was pressuring me to do it. And I was like, I don't really want to do this. I don't want to have sex with you. It's not my cup of tea. But then at the same time, my self worth and self esteem was so low that I was like, well, he says he loves me. And I mean, we've all heard that one. He says he loves me and I love him too. So I might as well go ahead and do it. And I did it. And I didn't like it. It hurt. I was like, this hurts. This feels weird. And in the back of my head, I was like, it feels odd because before that, I was used to having sex with condoms. So I was like, this feels odd. I don't like this very much. And yeah, I mean, and I did it. And luckily, when I got tested before I ended up doing this with him, I was told by the person that gave me the test, they said, well, since you're clear, since you have a negative status, you can have sex. You have a 3-month window. You can have sex with someone you trust, unprotected. And I said, well, since I trust them and since I love them, that was my thing. I thought I was in love. Um, I said, okay, fine. I'll go ahead and do it. Excuse me. And did it. Didn't like it. Didn't like it. And I was like, this is what people. This is what people are going gaga over. I'm not into this very much. So just wasn't my cup of tea. And, luckily for me, I got tested again. I was fine. But what if I hadn't been? And also, the one thing that we have to understand is there are other STDs and STIs out there besides HIV and AIDS. There's chlamydia, there's syphilis, there's gonorrhea, there's, I mean, so many different, there's herpes. There's so many different things that you can get, if you're not careful. So it's more than just, it's bigger than HIV and AIDS. Really, it really is. And I will say this too. I've dated HIV positive men. I have no problem with that as long as you take care of yourself because that's the key. The key is self-care. If you are HIV positive or if you're struggling with your status or if you don't know your status, I recommend that you go and start taking care of yourself. Go get tested, number one. Find a support system. Find people around you that won't judge you because trust me, I don't judge people who have any affliction. We all have some affliction about us. I have a disability. I mean, I can't judge anyone. You know what I'm saying? So why would I judge you for having, a disease? And if you are maintaining, if you are taking your medications, if you're taking care of yourself, you're eating healthy, you're exercising, you're making sure that you are top priority, you should be fine. And I've met many, many beautiful men and women that have HIV and live very vital, active, healthy lives. So it's not a death sentence, but you don't want it to be. I'm saying this to those that are watching me that might be struggling, or you may not want people to know your status, or you don't know your status. You don't want to get to that point where it is a struggle for you, where you can have complications because of said disease. You don't want that. And it is a disease. I mean, let's be real, it is. But the thing of it is, you can fight it with the right medication, the right support, the right things that you need, the right team, and everything everybody is different. What may work for one person may not work for you. So I would say go and find things that work for you. I am no expert. I'm no doctor. For people like, well, how can you say this? You ain't a doctor. No, I know that. I'm just saying, that would be my advice. And I've also seen people die from this disease. I had a friend of mine. Well, I shouldn't say he was a friend, but I consider him a friend. This was when I was younger. When I first moved to St. Louis, um, I used to go to a youth group, and I talked about this before. But there was a man. I talked about this in like my older videos, but there was a guy. His name was Sean, and I mean a beautiful man. Like I would have dated him down. He was so cute. Um, and we would talk every like week because this youth group that I used to go to, we would talk every week, and I would see him every week, and we would just talk and talk, and we got on like really well. Like we got on very well. I was like, wow, this is really cool. And then I noticed as time went on, he wasn't around as much, and I was like, where is he? Like where, like I would ask people like, where's Sean? And nobody would say anything. And it was kind of like you knew, but you didn't want to talk about it. That because of the progression of his disease, or of the disease, because I won't say it was just his, but of the disease, that he either had passed or he was passing away. And it was hard for me because I was like, I really liked him. I considered him a friend. I considered him a buddy. Um, so it was really difficult. I mean, and I'm saying all this because, I know right now, like let's be real, raw sex has been, or barebacking, that's been prevalent since like the late 90s, since like the early 2000s. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't do it. It's your body. You do what you want. It's your choice, but, and that's not the only way you can get an STD. I mean, let's just be real. There are many other ways besides sex. However, in my community, both the black and the gay communities, which I'm equal members of both, that's a big one. That's the first thing we want to do, fuck without a rubber. Like, why? Like, what's the big deal? Why are you so quick to pull that condom off? And I've also seen videos where guys, they'll be having sex with a dude with the condom on, and then they'll take like a scissor or whatever and cut it open, and will penetrate said person, and um orgasm inside of them. I'm trying to be nice. And to me, I find it to be very, honestly, I find it to be disgusting. Because if the person that you're doing that to, they don't know you're doing that, you're wrong for that. Not everybody wants that. Not everybody, because some people glamorize HIV. And this is one part where, for me, or they glamorize having, the disease. And this is one part for me that I will blame the adult industry for this, in a way. Because if you look at majority of adult entertainment now, and let's be real, when you're gay, that's the first thing you look. That's the first thing you see. You see porn. I mean, you don't. Especially if you grew up like me, the first thing you really gravitate to was porno. You don't really know, because you don't know who to talk to. How can your parents who are heterosexual understand your evolution as a gay person or a lesbian or a transgendered man or woman? Or like, how can they understand it? They can't, or they won't. Some can, some do, but some don't. So, I kind of blame the adult industry, sort of, because I feel like, excuse me, I do feel like it is their responsibility in a way to say, like, hey, to educate. And they've tried to do it, but then at the same time, what outsells the condom safe, the non-bareback videos? What outsells them? Macho Fucker, Breed It Raw, Treasure Island Media, and I've watched them all. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say I haven't, because I have. I've seen, the 50 load. I've seen those movies, and I will admit this too. Yes, they are titillating. Yes, they are quote unquote hot. But as an adult, you have to say, okay, they're doing that, but that doesn't mean I have to do that. You know what I mean? I have choices. They do too, but they're choosing to do said work. I don't have to do that. And my thing is, if that's what you do, there's nothing wrong with it. If that's what you want to do, fine, because it's your body. I'm not going to judge you. It's your body, your choice. I've had bad sex before, but I really firmly believe, with the way that this disease is running rampant in the black and gay communities, and not only the gay communities, but like with women, you know what I mean? That's another one that we don't talk about, how it's affecting women. Um, I advise anybody who's watching this, get help, be selective, be safe, and be smart. Not just for your partners, but for yourself, because you only have one life, and life is to be celebrated. And if you are positive, embrace it. Like do what you have to do. Grieve, go get support, go get counseling. There are places where you can get help. Get your medication regardless of your income. You know, um, talk to people, reach out to people that you don't even know and tell them your story. Get it off your chest. That will help you. You know what I mean? Um, if you're struggling with it, like I'm gonna be honest, talk to me, like message me, like for real. Like I do read them, believe it or not. I read my messages on my thing, so or on my channel. Leave your comments. Tell me your story. Leave them down below. I really want to hear from all of you because this affects everybody, not just me, not just the person watching this video, but everyone, man, woman, child. It affects everybody, and I just implore you, get tested, be safe, be smart, be selective, live your life, celebrate your life, do what you choose to do because it is your body, it is your choice on what you choose to do. But just be smart while doing it. And, self care is the best care in the world. Learn to love yourself. Get around people that can give you the proper tools to love yourself, to put yourself first. Not in a selfish way, but in a way that is like conducive to you being healthy, not just physically, because we're so about getting our bodies right and tight and but what about your mind? What about your heart? What about your spirit? Meditation, prayer. If you want to talk to a pastor, talk to one. If you want to talk to a priest, talk to one. Go to a synagogue, go to a mosque if you have to. Go out in nature and commune with her. It, he, she. Do what you have to do. Because trust me, times are with the way this world is and the way that this world is getting, and let's be real, unfortunately, has always been. It's just now it's coming. It's more prevalent now, but you have no time to waste. You have no time to be sitting on your butt and making excuses. And my thing is, if you want to engage in risky behaviors, do it. But you have to remember, you're putting your life on the line, and you're putting yourself at risk and other people at risk. This is why, and this is another video I'm gonna do. This is why I don't. I used to, like when I was younger, I used to mess with a lot of married dudes, a lot of men that had wives and kids. And I'm just gonna say a little bit. And eventually I quit because I said, you know what? All I'm doing, I'm just an accessory. You don't like me really. You just see me as a walking cum rag. That's not gonna work for me anymore. And that's why I don't deal with men that are married. I don't deal with men that are closeted preachers, i.e. Eddie Long. I don't deal with men like that anymore because I realize, what am I doing? You're not helping me. We're not growing as a unit. We're not a couple. I'm just some dude that you come and see in the evening time when the sun is down and you get what you want to get and you go home. But then I had to remember, wait a minute, but I'm allowing it to happen because I'm the one answering the door. I'm the one answering his text. I'm the one answering the phone. So I can't put the complete blame on him. I had to get right with me and start with myself. And, yes, it was hard at first, but I said, you know what? If I truly love me, I have to do this. So I implore you, and I'm not saying that it's all married men and pastors and stuff, but I'm just being real. I'm telling you a little bit of my story. But I just implore you to do what you have to do. Go to Planned Parenthood, go to the free clinic. You may not want to, but go. Um, learn safer sex practices. And even if you like with me, like even if you watch, bareback porn, okay, watch it. But remember that they're choosing to do that. You don't have to do that. They're choosing to do it. So just be safe even in that. Like, hey, that's not what I'm gonna do. You don't. We're all adults. We all are capable of making decisions. So make the best one for you, the best one for you at the time. And if you feel that okay, I'm not gonna do that, then don't do it. It's just up to you. So I just implore you, be safe, get tested, get support, get people around you that love you. If you know your family and friends are going to shame you, because that's another thing that needs to stop too. We really need to stop HIV shaming. Stop it. Like that, just because you have HIV, that doesn't make you a whore. That doesn't make you dirty. That doesn't make it. It does not. Like it really doesn't. Because 9 times out of 10, let's be real honest. 9 times out of 10, majority of the people that I know that have caught HIV or any STD or STI, they were in relationships. They were partnered. So that doesn't make them a whore. Or they used protection. But guess what? The protection malfunctioned. So what can you say? They don't make you a whore at all. So that's one thing we need to stop. We need to ask, are you okay? How are you? Do you need help? And I will be honest, I've done that. Like before I knew any better, it's like that old saying, when you know better, you do better. But before I knew any better, I used to think that too. But then I met people. I met people who were smart and successful and warm and funny and the cutest people. You know what I mean? And just joys to be around. But they had HIV, or they had an STD. And that didn't change them. They were still the most beautiful, bright, bubbly people. So that doesn't change you. You just now have something you have to learn to maintain, to control, and you have to learn to deal with it. So my advice is to get support, get help, stop being ashamed, don't feel guilty, talk to somebody, go to the clinic, get your medication, do what you have to do. And, let's put it into this. Let's put it into, this stigma, this disease in general, to all diseases, really, not just HIV and AIDS, but everything. Like, let's really educate and empower ourselves and know that it's okay. It's okay to admit this, but also it's okay to say, you know what, I have it, but I don't want everybody else to have it either. You know what I mean? So let's do that. Let's galvanize. Let's come together and talk about it, because I think talking leads to healing. That's just my personal opinion. So that's all I really wanted to say. I just wanted to come on and share my thoughts and feelings on this, because I think this is so important. For me, I will always fight for rights, to be able to say things like this. And I want to fight, the stigma that comes along with this, because I think it's unfair. And it's sad that we tend to, you know, um, drown our own, as they say. I don't think that that's right at all. So, and I think it's good to talk about safer sex and, practices and things like that, and to show people who might be struggling with this or who may not know their status, it's okay. You have support. You can come here. We're not going to judge you. That's so important. So that's all I really wanted to say. I hope you guys like what I had to say. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, thumbs it up. If you really want to hear more from me, subscribe. Please subscribe to my channel. I would love that, because I love, the new subscribers I'm getting. And also chime in. I want to hear your stories. Put them down below. I want to hear from y'all, like, for real, because I do read them. I read comments, and I actually respond to a lot of my comments too, because I want to. I encourage dialogue, even if it's something that I may not agree with. I want to hear from you, because I think dialogue, like I said, it can lead to healing. And with healing, there is love. So that's all I wanted to say. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Thursday night. Have a great weekend. I will probably be back on here soon, but if I'm not, have a wonderful weekend. I love you all very much, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay? Bye.